yes. That ointment of yours is a gift from heaven. Now they only ache when there's a storm coming.
That's handy, isn't it? At least you know when to round up the cattle and gather in the hay.
Aye.
How are your knees? Feeling better?
Oh, yes. That ointment of yours is a gift from heaven. Now they only ache when there's a storm coming.
That's handy, isn't it? At least you know when to round up the cattle and gather in the hay.
Aye. When I'm old and infirm, folks will come to me for the weather forecast.
I heard about this fella who always got heartburn just before it snowed. You could team up.
Greetings.
All we need is a bloke who can't get it when
God
it's
be
going
with
to be
you,
sunny,
sir.
and we'll be the three wise men.
Three cripples, more like.
Mesnya ini akhirnya aku kerjain juga. Aku benar-benar maling dari Tarkov, Jelezov sampai Troskowit. Semuanya aku malingin. Tapi gua cuma ambil duit sama kunci aja. Duit kunci.
Good morning to you. I have that document from the rat house for you.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you.
Judging by the contents, it seems like you're dabbling in alchemy here at the mill.
That's
Yeah.
not a bad guess.
Not yet.
But don't forget about astrology, theurgy, transmutation, and a smidgen of demonology. Although that's something anyone with a grain of sense should avoid. Now show it to me, so I can finally get the knowledge. Good. This will come in handy. Ah, yes, of course.
What now?
That much? We're going to need more. A lot more.
Did you hear me? What now?
Sorry. I got lost in thought. I owe you my thanks as
100.000
well as
dari
reward.
polisi. Pesan, maling itu malam-malam bukan subuh-subuh gini.
Gamenya waktunya bisa diatur. Kalau ya real life ya gak bisa sih. Thank you polisi ya. Ternyata asik anjir jadi maling, astaga. Aku awalnya masih sok suci, gak mau questnya maling, gak mau. Sekali maling anjir asik.
Getting me the document. And maybe another little job? What do you say?
Wait a moment. Supposing you first initiate me into the mystery.
Oh ya, tadi gue melihat menjadi sesuatu nih.
Run-of-the-mill business.
Jadi aku kan masuk ke ini kan, ke heaven ya, penginapan gitu. Itu ada kamar gede, kamar utama gitu kan. Biasanya di rumah manapun itu yang nama kamar utama yang diranjang itu ya bos sama istrinya kan. Dan tadi itu di heaven tuh benar istri itu bos. Ya yang ibu yang punya benar, ibu penginapan benar. Tapi lakinya itu pembantu dia, anjir, pekerja dia. Suaminya gak tahu di mana. Coba ya nanti gua cek ya. Si Betty punya suami gak? Di Troskowit Inn.
So to speak.
Skandal.
I smell something devilish here.
Devilish? Not at all. You guessed it. It's nothing less than high learning.
Sick Kyle.
Alchemy! And when I say alchemy, I mean real alchemy. Not some hocus-pocus brewing of potions for creaky joints and bellyache.
Tell me more about it then. Maybe I'll learn something useful.
I suppose. You are my apprentice, after all. You deserve to know what all of this is leading to. Now, pay close attention. I want to make a golem out of dough. Then, using secret alchemical practices in theurgy, bring him to life.
A golem? What's that?
A golem is a helper brought to life using divine words. A living statue endowed with
NPC, yeah.
massive strength. It can be
NPC,
made
yeah.
of clay, wood, stone, basically anything.
Jangan join body
I'll
gitu
make
dong.
one out of
Ganggu
flour.
cutscene orang.
Studying the Jewish cabals taught me a practice known as Maseh Bereshit.
Lu
A
coba.
mystic can use it to imitate the work of God. Just imagine. You know how helpful a golem would be at the mill? Carrying sacks, pulling wagons, standing
NPC ya.
guard.
Ya, orang yang lagi ngomong
Smarter than
gak ada collision nih kalau udah kayak
the
gini.
strength of 10
Mas
men.
join semua.
My word. That sounds incredible.
Aduh, kena naik buat Felix.
So far, it's just all in. But if you're patient and help me,
Kena warning.
you'll see soon enough. It's in the interest of the advancement and prosperity of mankind. Just look at the Bible. Moses could command the waters and speak to God through the element of fire. And Jesus brought the dead back to life. I've no doubt that if our
Kembar
great
tiga.
Holy Mother Church had been around at the time,
Oh
they'd
iya.
have crucified Jesus.
Dia
the
berdiri
same as
makin
the
keren tuh.
Pharisees. And all the apostles would have been burned at the stake.
So a golem, you say, made of flour? For the good of mankind?
Exactly.
And what about the good of me? You promised me a reward.
You
Eh,
already know
satu
that
lagi
you can
nambah.
learn the
Berempat nih,
practical
berempat nih.
application of certain useful skills from me. But for a few
Coba ya,
groschen,
itu ceweknya
we
berdiri
could
gitu.
discuss the art on a more, let's say, theoretical level.
I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. Supposing you give me a few groschen first, as a reward for bringing you the document, and then I'll decide whether to trade the coin for some learning.
Oh, see now, I completely forgot. Here you go. So you don't go around saying that Miller Crazel is a pinch purse. I added in what I owe for those sacks you carried. And if you want some more
Mukanya beli
work,
semua. Mukanya tuh kayak lagi liatin orang kayak mau siap ngomong gitu.
What's this next job all about?
I need to find a saltpeter pit.
Never a wasted word, eh, Crazel?
Short and to the point. That's my credo.
Batuk dia.
And how long will it take before you tell me what a saltpeter pit is?
A saltpeter pit is a pit in which saltpeter is formed.
Saltpeter is niter. That I know. They're white crystals similar to salt. But I have no idea what you might need it for here at the mill.
The Kabbalistic doctrine
Nggak
speaks of
perhatiin lagi
saltpeter
ngomongin
as a
apa
vessel
nih.
for the inexhaustible essence of life. Those white crystals are said to contain the very essence of being. That's
Ambil
precisely
banyak banget
what we need
screenshot.
to give life to our golem. Thanks
Yeah,
to the
fine,
ingredients
perfect.
from Hermes Trismegistos, his feet will never get tired.
Wah,
His
itu
fists
kayak bayangan
have the power
shadow.
to smash rocks. But saltpeter is the most important thing. Saltpeter will be the golem's heart.
So you're serious about this golem? And are you certain it'll work out?
Certainly. Otherwise, I wouldn't even try.
How much saltpeter will it take to bring to life such a big creature?
A lot. That's why I want you to find
Ya,
me a decent
berdiri
saltpeter
perfect nih.
pit.
Mau lagi
Do you
nunggu juga.
understand?
I was hoping I'd learn something useful from you. But instead, you're making me wander around the countryside looking for some pit.
Well, you never know when an experience like that might come in handy.
All right then. I'll look around for that saltpeter pit of yours. I just hope you know where to look. That you can point me in the right direction.
Bonnie has a lead. She's a damned handy girl to have around. She can do anything you ask of her. But for you, the most important thing is that she knows how to look for niter, or saltpeter if you prefer.
So this Bonnie is some kind of witch who's in on this golem stuff.
Bonnie is someone I trust without question, and you should too. Not only will she teach you how to find saltpeter, but also how to differentiate it from common salt. The main difference is it has kind of cooling taste.
Hold your horses. You want me to taste that nasty stuff?
If you don't taste it, you could confuse it with some nasty rot. You don't want that.
Damn right.
Don't be such a lily liver, Henry. If Bonnie can taste saltpeter, so can you. She'll tell you the rest herself. You'll find her in the lair. That's a secret
Lair.
storage space I have here just
Aku
by the
tahu
pond.
di mana.
Only my best people can get in.
Your best people. That's
Ini,
just
ini
another way of saying
kebetulan
people
lama
who
juga
are
nih
on
omongannya
the
nih.
bailiff,
Nggak
eh?
selesai-selesai.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
All right then. How do I get to this lair?
There's a bridge over the mill stream towards the southwest. Take the path to the left, just behind it along the pond. From that path, you turn right, uphill, between the rocks, and you'll find yourself right in front of the lair. You can't miss it. Oh, and so I don't forget, you could pick some herbs along the way to see Bonnie. It would make her very happy. She's just been through some tough times. Her dog died, and on top of that, she has to spend time with that blabbermouth, Zinnik. On the other hand, Zinnik might be holding his tongue for a while after his encounter with the Troskowitz stocks.
If Bonnie spends time with Zinnek, she may want some spirits rather than herbs.
Bonnie? Never. Being a decent Christian, she avoids alcohol like the plague. Run along, so you're back as soon as possible.
To the lair.
God be with you.
Careful.
Sekaligus langsung liris.
Here, my friend. Greetings.
Tidak berdiri dia. Jadi gak fokus. Bentar, hapus dulu screenshot gua tadi. Kebanyakan. Paling bagus mana? Bar. Oke. Ujung-ujungnya mau kerja juga anjir. Udah gak jujur lagi ini si Henry gua nih. Padahal awalnya mostly masih jujur dia. Tapi gak apa-apa. Ada quest melaporkan si cowok tadi tuh. Si Miller yang ngomong tadi. Mau kerjain semua quest dia baru gua laporin. Di mana? Ini masih di sini, Be. Aku ada track loh. B. Oh alah. Lupa. Track all. Matiin itu tadi buat ngecek. Ya di The Lair. Pickpocket di game ini tuh gampang banget anjay. Jauh lebih gampang daripada lockpick. Apalagi pas mereka lagi tidur. Hihi.
What was that noise? Woodcutters?
No. Ada yang nembak. Anjing maksudnya apa nih? Anjing liar. Yang lari itu loh. Wood cutter di mana? Oh ya, suruh ambil harp ya. Oh nggak tahu dia mau yang apa. Mana Boni? Loh, nggak ada orang.
You're always welcome.
Jesus Christ be praised.
I'm Henry, Miller Crazel's new apprentice. He sent me to search for a niter pit and said you might be able to help me with that.
Of course I will. I'm Bonnie. Nice to meet you.
Bonnie? It's not a name I hear often.
It's not the name I was baptized with. In our craft, it ain't a good idea to tell people your real name. That's why we use nicknames. What should we call you?
Maling. The Wolf of Scarlet.
The Wolf of Skalitz.
Well, that's not very creative. You know what? I'll come up with a nickname for you myself when I get to know you better. Did you bring me something from the mill?
Actually, Crazel said you'd appreciate some herbs.
He's right there. Do you have some for me?
I've got something here.
My word, that's exactly what I need. The
Pergi jalan
ingredients for
doang.
the magic ritual.
What kind of magic ritual?
The kind where Zenek finally gets some sense into his head and stops making stupid beginner's mistakes. Just so you know, that mess with the author of Hermes Trismegistos would never have happened to me. Not me. While we're on the subject of rituals, did Crazel tell you about the golem?
He did.
And what do you think of it?
If that beast doesn't slay us as soon as it comes to life, then sooner or later some inquisitor will find out about it. I think it's all witchcraft. Playing with fire.
Playing with fire. If you only knew. But don't worry. I'm sure it'll be a peaceful golem, just like Crazel imagines it. Calm and humble, and it'll help all of mankind. But that's enough of that. We're not going to stand here talking about flower golems when we've barely just met. I'd like to chat with you too, Henry. Get to know you a bit. But if you're in a hurry to find Crazel's saltpeter, I won't keep you.
No. I have plenty of time. But where to start?
You know what? I'll start. When they caught Zenek in Troskovitz, I was scared out of my mind that they'd catch me and clap me in the stocks. I had to hide out here for a while, so I haven't had anyone to talk to. Life in the lair isn't all fun and games. Zenek and all the other mill knuckleheads were never worth much as company. So I'm glad the millers finally found a normal hand for once. You've got a beautiful dog. What's his name?
Mutt.
What a cute fella. How did you find each other?
He belonged to this girl I knew, Teresa. She saved my life in my hometown, Skalitz, when I went to bury my parents.
Well, I'll be... That's what I call an interesting past. I used to have a dog, but I don't anymore.
He died.
He started getting these lumps all over his body. He stopped eating, just slept all the time. And then, well, what's done is done. And what about you? What kind of family are you from? Also, thieves?
Blacksmith.
No. Pa was a blacksmith. I inherited something from him, I hope.
Oh, really? Would you teach me how to make, maybe, barrel hoops?
Those are pretty hard. Wouldn't you rather start with, maybe nails?
Sure. I'm pretty quick to learn and patient. That is, with one exception. When Crazel starts spouting off his alchemy theories, I'd rather run for the hills. What do you think of the old miller, anyway?
I don't think I've ever met anyone more annoying in my life. Most of the time, I don't even understand what he's on about.
Once he told me there's no such thing in the world as a man and a woman. Only mercury and sulfur. What are you supposed to say to that? Best to keep your mouth shut. Thanks for talking to me. It really is good to have someone to pour my heart out to. But now, about that saltpeter. Before you came, and before Zenek fucked up with the manuscript, we collected saltpeter all over the place, mainly in sties. It has to be scraped from the walls. Horrible work. Time-consuming and annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. We also looked in a few chests, just in case. You know. Anyhow, now all the sties in the region are scraped clean and we're sitting pretty on a nice barrel of saltpeter.
Barrel is quite a lot.
For the whole Trotsky region, aye. Unfortunately, Crazel said we need at least 6 times as much.
6 barrel.
6 times? Will one saltpeter pit be enough?
I reckon so. There should be as much as Crazel needs for his masterwork. If you're looking for it, you ought to know how saltpeter forms. Do you have any idea?
Certainly. You take a damp wall, like in a sty, you let the water evaporate from it, and you get this salty bloom.
That's right. But like I told you, all the sty walls in the region are scraped clean and we can't wait. Don't forget that saltpeter crystals are formed in places where something is rotting. It can be shit
Rotting.
or carcasses. Well, a saltpeter pit is actually nothing more than a mass grave. The best natural saltpeter maker.
Crazel said saltpeter is a vessel for life energy. I get it that it's left over from dead bodies, but how do you get it from shit?
God's mysterious ways. You know how it is.
And he also wanted me to taste it. That's nonsense, though, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it isn't.
What?
Otherwise, you won't know if it's saltpeter or some other shit. It feels kind of cold on the tongue.
Jesus. And you know where to look for such a pit full of carcasses, do you?
Not exactly, but I have an idea. Times are evil and there's plenty of corpses. A person who's digging holes and throwing dead bodies into them and doesn't even know he's got a a saltpeter mine.
The local gravedigger?
Exactly. And the one we have here in the region is also the knacker.
Ah, the gravedigger Ignatius. I've already met him. He lives outside Troskowitz in the direction of Apollonia, right?
Aye, that's him.
So I'm in for a walk to the cemetery.
Seems like it. Too bad you couldn't have walked around the county with us before. It was fun. And pretty useful experience. I learned a lot during that time, and I won't keep it to myself. I'd be happy to teach you something, if you want.
I'll keep that in mind.
That old gravedigger will be suspicious, so I'd bring him some kind of offering. He's always dragging those carcasses, so I'm sure he'd appreciate a slab of fresh meat from Troskowitz butcher.
Good idea.
He lives a short way from the cemetery, so at least the meat won't go bad on the way. Lots of luck, the Wolf of Scarlets.
Beliin daging buat penggali kubur. Daging fresh.
Why do you work for the miller?
Because he pays well, and don't care how much coin I make on the side.
You mean by stealing?
And he doesn't ask any stupid questions.
What did you do before?
I got by any way I could. Believe it or not, I started in a convent.
You? A nun? Well, why not? I was in the cloisters myself for a while.
Oh well, different people have different fates. But we all ended up here anyway, in the armpit of the world.
What do you think about Crazel?
You're another one of those that don't know if they should love him or hate him, right? Crazel is his own man. Once you learn to get along with him, you can't help but admire him a bit. But sometimes he's unbearable as soon as he opens his mouth.
What do you know about the Troskovitz gravedigger?
He's a pretty tough old bird. He follows the rule, I'll treat you the way you treat me. And he appreciates when a fella's direct and open. But I probably wouldn't tell him everything about us.
So, Bonnie, the most honest girl I know, sent me. I'd like to see some dead animals as models for painting a church fresco. A scene from the apocalypse.
That might be a bit much, but you learn fast.
How was the saltpeter collection and tasting again? Sounds pretty disgusting.
It wasn't so bad. Xena kept whining about it, but being a saltpeter collector, it has its benefits. When you go and clean someone's sty, they don't pay much attention to you and leave their purses and chests unattended. We made a pretty decent amount on the side.
What, by stealing?
Confiscating property for the greater glory of God. I hate the term stealing.
Just like Crazel. Tell me something more about Zinnek.
He's Andy, that's for sure. But also a bit of a fool. To be honest, I don't care for Crazel's bullshit most of the time either. I do this job because it's fun, unlike Zinnek. He does everything for his own good, doesn't give a damn about any greater cause or other people. Actually, he really pisses me off with his attitude. And he entertains himself by coming up with the stupidest nicknames for me. Dunga, for instance. What kind of a bloody awful name is Dunga?
Oh, lovely. And what does he call
Jangan tuh
himself?
penggali ini kah tai kah?
Or
Jangan
Jan,
tai kan?
Nicholas, Franz, Peter, Jakub. The most bland, everyday names. He tries to be careful, but then he opens his big mouth and fucks it all up, just like in Troskovitz.
What is this lair place?
Crazel built a stall so all them honest, curious people in the mill, the likes of Hensel, wouldn't have to worry their little heads about what we're doing here.
You mean behind that boarded up door in the cliff?
We're definitely not doing anything there right now, because of the mess in there. I told Xenek to clean it up. I think he wants to see if the place will get so rotten that saltpeter will bloom on the walls.
I'd like to learn something.
And what would you like?
Boleh? Aku lagi butuh ini dua nih.
I reckon you've got a few tricks in your pocket to get into other people's pockets.
Aku
Alright,
butuh naikin
but it'll
level
take some
thievery
time.
gua supaya chest itu jadi tingkat kesulitannya turun.
I'd like
What would you like to...
being quick and
All right. You remember that sweet thing from Slatigo?
Yeah, that's the 100th time you've asked today.
Wait, would he like to come here to us?
Don't you think we already took more from them?
Why do you work for the miller?
Well, how can I put it? Anywhere else, they'd have kicked me out by now. The miller's the last person who'd still give me a job. He says every idiot is of some use at least.
And you see that as a compliment?
I see a coin in my hand every week. That's all I care about.
What did you do before you started working for the miller?
A bit of this, a bit of that. When I was still a boy, I stirred lye at a tannery, and then I slaved away at a dye house. But since I came to the town, it's been, well, let's say not exactly honest work. But that's what I'm best at, see?
What do you think of Crazel?
Is this some kind of test or what? I can think what I want, and I keep my opinion to myself. And you ought to do the same.
Long time no see, eh?
Crazel gave you another job.
Yeah. I proved myself to him last time, so why not continue our collaboration?
Did you come here to make fun of me? Just like Bonnie? As soon as she showed up, she gave me hell over that manuscript.
No, not at all. I just need to find out something only you would know. What do you know about the gravedigger?
Not much to know. He's half gravedigger and half knacker. He takes care of both dead people and animals.
Ngomong sama NPC
Never
gini
figured
tuh
that out without
bisa
your
naikin
help.
GSP juga.
Anything more interesting?
He's my father. And he's a wizard, same as me.
Yeah, right.
It's true. I was born the 7th son of a 7th son. I have the power of clairvoyance and I can raise the dead. I'm just hiding out with the miller until my time comes. I've been chosen to save the world.
Yeah, nice story. But if I'm going to get the miller some saltpeter, I need to know something useful.
Oh, aye. You're not much fun, are you? The gravedigger's as boring as you are. Also, he knows when he's being lied to, and he hates it. So don't even try it.
You see? That's the kind of thing I wanted to know. Was that so hard?
Jangan berbohong.
So, Zinek, have you any experience with saltpeter?
Oh, I never want to see that shit again. I still have the taste of it in my mouth. And Bonnie and me was taking turns tasting it.
Weren't you afraid a dead soul would enter you through it?
What? What are you babbling about?
Dead souls pass time in niter crystals, don't they? That's why the miller is looking for them. To bring the golem to life.
You fool! We're looking for saltpeter to sell to butchers for salting meat. There's good coin in it.
Well, the miller told me something different.
You can't believe everything he says. A golem in the mill. He's yanking your pizzle.
You're all just trying to confuse me.
Crazel's a good teacher. You know how it is.
What can you tell me about Bonnie?
Well, you mean Cheeks or Jezebel?
Are those nicknames?
Dunger, Snowdrop, Vixen... We always come up with the stupidest names, and nobody sees through them anyway. Bonnie's been here the longest, and has the most experience. I'm surprised she still puts up with Crazel and his mad notions. And I think she likes animals more than people. When I try to talk to her about work or weather, she gets bored.
What sort of place is this?
Our secret place, where we can quietly plot sneaky plans for our beloved miller.
Behind that boarded-up door? What's inside that cliff?
You know, storage, rubbish, rats, filth. Look, I know Bonnie ordered me to clean up in there. Thanks to you, I'm sure the movement of goods will start again soon. So it'd probably be good to have some order around here. I just haven't got round to it yet.
Zinek, I have a few questions about the saltpeter pit we're looking for.
So now you need me, eh?
Oh, udah.
Take care.
So, sekarang dia hadiah, secret tiger hadiah. Mana?
Yes, Wayne!
Loh, oh dia baru bunuh ya. Pegal tuh.
Mutt!
Oh, di sini.
Here you go. Take it.
Wah, dagingnya udah kalian. Beli daging.
You silly
Nih, jual daging.
Whoa, whoa.
Beli sosis. Sini.
Good day, sir.
Show me your wares.
Beacon. Gua beli smoke aja deh. Apalin. Smoke. Oh. Sosis katanya. Ada dia jual sosis, bro. Gak usah sosis lah ya. Setelah. Ya, beli beacon. Oh, dia terima kulit juga. Oke. Ini mau jual ke dia. Basi.
I'd like to discuss the... Well... Aye. Thank you, sir. And come again. Look what I have for you.
Kenapa gak di-join sih itemnya?
Are you whistling at me? I'm not interested.
Aneh dengan kuda gua nih. Suka jalan sendiri loh.
Everything alright? Hey?
Agak diem lagi gitu loh. Pasti parkir.
Whoa!
Kali dia. Enggak.
What on earth are you doing here?
Beda
Nothing.
orang.
What's with that hole there?
What about it?
You've got a body in there, haven't you? Admit it.
I ain't got nothing in there.
Then what are you up to here?
Look, I mean no
Oh, ini gua
disrespect,
tahu.
but I ain't having the best of days.
Kemarin nggak
So,
sempat
thanks for
save
stopping by, but
karena wali load
no need
hilang
to
dia.
tarry for my sake.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I think not. But thanks anyway.
Come now. You surely won't turn down a helping hand. What is it you're up to?
You're a stubborn one, aren't you? But all right then. Listen up. I'm Bolek.
And I'm Henry.
See, what I'm doing here is... How do I... Sakura. How to explain this? Well, it's just... The hand of God dragged me here to look for the Holy Grail.
You're looking for the Holy Grail? Here, of all places?
Aye. It should be around here somewhere. Somewhere in the area.
Are you a complete lunatic? How the hell did you come up with such a crock of shit? Why here, of all places?
Because I met this old monk the other day. He wasn't entirely right in the head. He kept muttering to himself and looked the worse for wear. Not a pleasant sight, but I felt sorry for him. So I shared some wine and a piece of bacon with him, and he gave me a parchment with writing on it.
You let him pay you with a scrap of parchment?
Aye,
I mean, he could have given you... I don't know.
but he didn't, did he? That filthy scrap of parchment described exactly where the chalice of Christ was hidden.
Seriously?
Well, I mean, not actually exactly. It was more like a bunch of verses, but it's a great clue.
Really? Do tell.
You think I'd let you in on it?
Maybe I can help you. Bones, holy relics, buried chests. Wouldn't be the first time I ferreted something out.
You've found stuff like this before?
I sure have. I've got a knack for it. It's pretty much what I do.
Sacre. Maybe I really am missing something. Fine. The monk gives me this parchment and it says, "From 2 magical mountains, gazing to the heavens. Like a thirsty pilgrim I tread the trail. Across the verdant valley to land's end. There shall I drink from the spring that will not suffer my breath to fail."
Let me see that parchment.
Here. Can you make anything out of it?
It looks like it's been torn out of a book.
I hadn't thought of that.
Part of the rhyme might be missing. Or maybe there's a map to go with it.
Of course! A map! Why didn't I think of that?
Are you all right?
I might know who has the map. 1,000 thanks, Henry. You can keep that parchment. You've been a big help.
Well, good luck then.
Farewell.
Itu dia.
Greetings, sir.
Have you heard any news?
There's something new every day. Death roams these parts, with me following close behind.
Oh,
I had to dabble in your trade a little bit. Buried a young man from the nomad camp who got beaten to death by woodcutters.
I know. Don't think I didn't try to get him for myself. He wasn't baptized, so I couldn't bury him in the cemetery. But he deserved a good place in the ground nonetheless. It gave me a terrible itch. I can't stand unfinished work. The damned woodcutters left him there like a solstice decoration.
I buried him in his favorite place.
You did well. Don't hesitate to bury any other corpses you find left unburied. You have my blessing. I can tell right away if a fella understands an honest trade.
Do you know what happened with the bodies from near the pond? Tankard, Conrad.
Who?
Well, you wouldn't know their names. A couple of soldiers that fell there. Where are they buried?
Oh, I remember them. They all ended up in a pit together right by the cemetery. All I got was a yellow waffen rock for the effort. Getting them out of there was a grind. They was well fed. You could tell right away they was from better parts than this here county.
Yeah, you're right. They're a long way from home.
Not to worry.
teman-teman
Earth is
mereka
Earth,
di awal
wherever it
game
is.
dibantai mati semua.
Ignatius, I'm gonna need your help.
Of course. How many are there? Where do you want to bury them? Shall we grind the teeth up, or do you want to take them away in your purse?
None of that. I have a different, slightly unusual request. Bonnie from Lower Semine sent me. We're looking for a saltpeter pit.
From Lower Semine? What pit?
A saltpeter pit.
I ain't never heard of nothing like that. What's it supposed to be? A pit to hell?
Nah. It's actually just a pit full of carcasses. These white crystals form on the walls of it. And that's exactly what we're after.
Ah, now I get it. You should have said you're looking for the pit I throw carcasses into. What's all this about Salty Peter? I'm going to go there anyway, so I'll take you there.
Really? That was easier than I thought.
Not even a chicken scratches in the dirt without hope of reward, though. You'll help me with something first. I have some collections from some Slatigo farmsteads, and I'd be a fool if I didn't use a helping hand. At least one day I can take it a bit easy.
You want me to help you with your grave-digging business?
Why not? You look like a strong fella. You'll be a good helper.
I have a better idea. You tell me where I can find that pit, and I'll give you a nice piece of fresh meat for it.
I won't say no to that. Show me what you have.
Dua.
Oh, aye, fresh meat. What a feast that'll make. Now, listen closely. That pit of yours lies at the end of a long journey that we'll take together on my wagon.
So you got meat
Sama
out
aja.
of me for nothing?
When
Sama
I see
aja.
how much you lot in Lower Samine are interested in it, I'm not just going to hand it to you on a plate. But thanks for the meat, and don't worry about a thing. Grave digging is a job like any other. Sooner or later, everyone needs our services. And if it wasn't for us knackers, folk would have to deal with their animal carcasses themselves.
Of course, I understand. I'm just a little worried about what people will say about me when they see me with you. I wouldn't like to lose the honor I've earned as squire to a nobleman.
Don't worry about what people say. They'll only strip you of your honor if you let them. So what then? Shall we take a nice little ride with my boys Snorter and Dragonfly here? Nice and early, at daybreak.
Let's get this over with then.
Didn't you understand me? We ain't going nowhere now. Like I said, be here at daybreak. That's between night and day. Do you understand?
Is there some place I can wait for morning to come?
Of course, if you've got nothing better to do, you can sit here with me. If you know how to read, I have a book hidden in the outhouse I got of a dead fella. That'll make the time go faster. In fact,
Huh?
you can keep it. All I can do is admire all them fancy squiggles in it anyway.
And where can I sleep?
At the inn in Truskowitz. Get a good breakfast there, too. You'll need it to be at full strength. Here's a little something so you know I take care of my helpers. See you in the morning.
Outhouse itu, oh. Ini. Outhouse tuh rumah yang agak jauh dari rumah utama. Buku. Ini. Ini nggak bisa masuk. Outhouse. Nggak mungkin ya. Apa di dalam? Oh, boleh masuk ah? Mana orangnya aja? Lockpick nih. Outhouse. Outhouse. Masih hard ya. Masih kurang level gua. The person you are robbing may not see you, so you can reach even into the front porch. Still ada berapa? 2 per nih. Exclusive with Roden. Roden tuh easier, lebih gak berisik kalau di dalam rumah. Buka pintu. If you hit someone who doesn't know of your prison with a ranged weapon, your target will suffer combat skill debuff, making them easier to deal with. Boleh. If someone is unsuccessful in their search for you, they will give up a little sooner. If you are not wearing very heavy armor, you can feint with your body and keep your opponent unsure. Feint. Lebih gampang, cepat menyerah. Jarang pakai range weapon sih, ini aja dah. Ada 2 skill ya, bisa pilih dua-duanya. Ada yang eksklusif, cuma ini doang. Buku Hot House. That one not good. Itu yang sih? Buku Hot House. Outhouse tuh tempat bagus, taruh buku di toilet ya, luar biasa. Usir gak ya? Aman lah ya. Tadi lagi. Osman tadi ya. Energi gua 79 ya, harus tidur. Jam segini ini udah tutup belum? In. Nah ini si Betty tidurnya sama dia emang gak ada suami kayaknya. Ini gak ada suami. Dia malam di ranjang tuh tidur sama anak buah dia. Hair hand. Gue pengen ini sih. Sekali lah ya.
We're not really equipped for that here.
What?
Just the one night's enough. All I need is to spend the night.
Sorry, sir. Unless you want to sleep on the hay.
Well, that doesn't matter. I'd even be happy to pay for a bed of hay.
Kira bisa dapat kamar. Kalau mau hey mah Ada satu rumah. Udahlah, 5 doang.
Agreed. I'll pay. Here's some groschen for you.
Good. It was my pleasure to help you, sir.
Where should I lie down?
You can sleep in the barn behind the cart, right next to the wood.
Would it be possible to sleep here sometimes?
If you're not some sort of scoundrel and you pay in advance, then I.
Oh, long term ini kapan nih? Selamanya ini. Menarik sih, ini jadi ada tempat save gitu.
Let's agree on a price.
Semoga.
More. Good. It was my pleasure to help.
I'll be with you.
Barn. Nih. Wah. Ini itu ya. Hey, barn. Di sini anjir, sedih amat tuh. Di tempat ini. Sekarang
Come here.
Jika mana?
Look what I have for you.
Bakon tuh, bakon. Ini kudanya. Lu kenapa sih? Lu ngebug apa gimana? Oops, 12 skornya kurang. Apa gimana?
Good.
Ada quest nih, kalau nggak awas ya, aku jadi maling lagi. Sini.
Go. Quick. Whoa. Everything all right? Hey?
Tidak menambah courage sih, kayak gitu. Coba dia pergi lagi gak? Wah, ini udah busuk. Mau makan tuh. Ini kuda setiap gua datang dia selalu minum. Courage-nya lebih tinggi. Nah, dia udah ganti lock belum? Juga. Lumayan nambah skill kalau dia udah ganti lock gitu. Tunggu. di dalam.
At your service, sir. You have a kind master, eh, Mutt?
I don't know if I'm completely ready for this, but let's get going.
The dew is still on the leaves. The roads are clear. You don't need your horse. I'll stable him here. It'll be heaven for him. In any case, heaven's always close here. Hop on the wagon and Snorter and Dragonfly here will take care of us. Did I bring that stuff for Visor?
Dia belum makan tuh. Aku langsung talk sama dia.
Got it all. Good.
Langsung persiapan lagi. Cerah naik sih. Walah, dia sini toh. Aku tadi sempat stopin ini karavan gitu kan. Stopin karavan mau numpang. Nggak tahu cara naik. NPC-nya stop di jalan lama banget.
I remember Crazel when he was still a wee lad. Even then he was a great big smart-ass. When I buried his parents, he was traipsing somewhere through the world. Maybe you heard what they say about Lower Samin round these parts. Crazel don't sell short men.
Lock.
Not that. He looks out for his reputation, but his helpers have been
Kali
seen
foto
often in
mod
the
langsung
villages
gelap
after
gini.
dark, looking fishy. Or during the day, in the
Cara fix nih.
pillories. Don't that bunny of yours belong to that gang too?
Unfortunately, she does. Crazel ordered Bonnie and her accomplice Zinnek to scrape saltpeter off the walls of the sties. And when they had a chance to loiter about in the yards here in the region, well, they made good use of the opportunity to line their purses.
Ay, ay, ay. What have I gotten myself into in my twilight years? Lower Samin's a thorn in the side for a lot of folk. Some on account of the competition. Some is just rubbed up the wrong way by that Crazel. Either way, all they need's the slightest excuse to grab their pitchforks.
Dia
Go and
ngapain
grab the
sama
mirror
domba
and
ya?
shove his face right in his own millstone.
Lupa kemana, oi? Sayangnya nggak bisa turun.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, boys, whoa! Come on, come on! Are you deaf? Oh, they're acting stubborn again. Now listen, Henry. Here on the left side, you'll see the ruins of a cottage that's been abandoned for a few years.
Iya. Oh, bukan ya, masih jauh. Ini. Atau ini.
It looks mysterious. What treasures might be hidden there?
You'll soon see. I have a trap set inside the cottage. I wanted to lure a wolf into it, but that didn't work out. There's a deer rotting there unnecessarily. So hop in there and bring it to the wagon. Finally, at least we're not blocking the road too much.
Udah. Ini unfinished. Oh, beda ya. Masih sama-sama ada lockpick very hard. Lu gonggongan apa anjir?
Oh, Jesus, what a stench. Better quickly throw it in a sack and take it back to the wagon.
Gimana cara lu keluar? Bisa lompat kah? Hah? Very hard ya. Very hard lockpick. Berarti ada 3 nih sejauh ini. What?
Hey, drop that right now and get over here.
What?
So you have a weapon? Big deal.
What's going on, Ignatius?
I'm trying to explain to these fellas we've got nothing to do with no thieving around here. They should go to Lower Sameen to complain.
2 stinking pieces of shit was sneaking around our sties and cellars and lining their purses with silver too while they was at it. Some scruffy and dunger. You must be scruffy, eh?
I'm Henry, and those
Dia lagi ngomong Bonnie sama
names mean
Zinek.
nothing to me.
Like I said, if it's rotten carrion they're after, they should have come to me. A passion for natting is the only thing we have in common.
Is that so? So prove it then.
Take a good look at me. Do I look like a thief? Or more like a commonplace, maybe just slightly grubby, hired hand? At this rate, you could blame any old peasant who's grimy after a hard day's work.
I don't know. I don't reckon I've ever seen a real thief up close.
Ask around about me and you'll find out everyone knows I can't stand a liar. I'll keep my promises and show up on time. So enough talk and let's carry on to where duty calls us.
All right, listen. We'll be going then. But if you happen to run into them 2 thieves, you tell us right away. Got it?
Of course.
You can count on it.
Glad to hear it. Let's go, fellas. Maybe...
What's next? Are we going?
Not much left for us to do here, eh?
Hopefully our luck will hold out, and we'll only be breaking the limbs of carcasses today. The next farm's just up ahead. Hop on, and let's go.
On, let's go.
Don't worry.
Hah? Dia agak naik.
That was just a kind of little favor for me. Now we'll help the locals here in Jda with their carcasses.
So far, I've just carried sacks. I already did that for the miller.
Yesterday, the good wife from that farm came and told me both their pigs died. So we'll scoop them up and haul them off. I mean, you'll scoop them up and haul them to my
sih,
car.
pekerjaan kayak gini
She says it was
gak
a
ada yang mau ya.
curse. There was a flash
Kubur
of
mayat,
lightning.
ambil mayat
Pigs
gitu.
started trembling, squealing and puking, and then keeled over and dropped dead.
All right, that's what you get. People sin here in their seclusion, thinking they're out of sight of our Lord.
It ain't my first day doing this job, so I could see right off them pigs had been poisoned. The good wife swore them pigs were happy as, well, pigs in shit. She said they even let them go to a nearby stream to have a wallow. It flows here through the forest on the right. Since we're here, you ought to go and take a look around there. Check how clear that spring really is.
All right, I'll see what's going on there.
And I'm going to enjoy having a helper. At least for one day. Maybe I'll roll around in the grass here with Snorter and Dragonfly. Good day.
Bolak-balik gitu 2 kali.
Ew. Is this really worth it?
You ain't the only one. It's been bothering the Nabokov folks too. That'll all be over today.
God reward you for it.
God don't reward me much, but I'll probably get something from the bailiff for hauling.
Well,
Here, Mutt.
you and your helper lots of luck today. May God bless you.
You too. You too.
Kedua kan. Dua babi meninggal. Ini gue investigasi dulu deh. Kenapa babinya bisa mati? Keracunan katanya. Airnya nggak bersih kah? Nih.
Those pigs came here to drink. Where to now? I can smell something upstream.
Stream. Ini kah?
Ignatius will leave without me if I run off from him.
Udah centang atau belum? Ini nggak ada keterangan ini kan? Gua ambil ini dulu.
Jesus, this is disgusting.
Where are we going to find 2 new pigs? More money out the window.
Mana lagi kita cari 2 ekor babi baru? Duit udah habis.
So, what do you think, Dragonfly? How's he doing? What now?
It really wasn't a curse. There are rotting carcasses in the water upstream from the watering spot. No wonder the pigs caught some disease.
Well, what do you know? I was right. I'll give you a hand. It'd take you all night on your own.
Nah. Bersihin airnya.
I took care of the carcasses. We can drive on.
Nice work. There's even a bit of meat left for me.
Yeah, you'd eat that. They've been lying there God knows how long.
But nicely in the cold. There's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, you won't be eating it, so don't worry about it. Let's keep going. Seeing as how you don't obey me, you're surely horsing around today.
Cuma cuci lah ya, nanti kotor lagi. Sama aja. Bapak. Lama dia deteksinya.
So far it ain't that bad, eh? You don't have to take down no hanged man or bury an unbaptized child.
Well, ever since I started working for the miller, all I did was carry sacks. The sack makers here in the region must live like kings. Of course it could be a lot worse.
I like having to carry sacks full of thistles. Now listen to me closely. You won't be carrying anything at the next farmstead. Instead, you'll have to make one carcass there. See, the work of a knacker ain't just about clearing away dead animals.
Bunuh juga.
Now and then you've got to put down some creature so it don't suffer. Or like today, to put it down so everyone around it don't have to suffer.
Diplomasi,
we're
perang.
talking about a dog.
Ini utamanya tentang ini.
Well, what can I do? But I doubt I'll feel good about it.
Tentang masalah tata. Ada 2 raja lagi rebut tata.
Don't draw too much attention to yourself at the farmstead.
Tapi NPC kita tuh cuma orang biasa doang. Atau anak buah dari satu bangsawan.
With the poison and throw it to the dog. It'll probably be locked in a pen somewhere. As soon as it's done, we'll disappear before anyone notices anything. I got paid well for it from the neighbors, so don't fuck it up for me.
Diracunin. Ini di mana? Oh, desa yang the abandoned yang belakang itu.
Yeah, yeah. Lazy bones.
Linggo cerdok.
Greetings.
Mana dok?
Oh, Sakra. The dog isn't here. The door's open. Where did he run off to? Here, Matt. Search.
Bisa ya. Anjingnya kabur. Harusnya ke rumah.
Barking. He's coming from over there.
Henry, how come you're here?
What?
Bonnie? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
The gravedigger wants me to poison that dog.
Jesus! And are you going to do it?
Well, what else can I do? You're the one who sent me to Ignatius. You just tactfully neglected to mention that when you and Zinek were acting as his hands, you robbed half the houses in the county.
Shit. It's all gone sour.
This is all I have left to do before he takes me to the saltpeter pit.
And couldn't you find the pit without that? Just take a look at that poor creature. I'd like to keep him in place of my poor dead sniffer.
You surely know how to pick 'em. Your poor creature is terrorizing the whole area.
It's not the animal's fault. When Zeynep
Boss,
and I were here
bulldog.
last, I saw how old Visaric treats him. He doesn't give him food. He abuses him. With a master like that, he
Sorry,
won't last
bukan
long.
bulldog.
You wouldn't kill a dumb
Apa itu
creature
anjingnya?
just because its master is a sick horseman, would you?
Pitbull ya?
Well, you don't have to convince me. Ever since the gravedigger told me to do it, I've been trying to figure out how to save that dog. If you want to take him, I won't stop you.
You're a much better Christian than I thought you were. I'll take him to the lair. We'll meet there.
Hurry off now, before someone sees us together.
Come on now, boy. You'll like it in the lair.
Anjingnya udah gak ada. Ini berarti bohong dong. First time bohong aja. Bohong sama dia maksudnya. Sama si kakek itu. Dia gak suka dengan orang yang gak jujur.
God bless. You have a kind master, eh, Doggy?
Here, Mutt.
Get over here so we can carry on.
It's taken care of.
Taken care of? What do you mean?
I set the dog free. He didn't deserve to die.
For fuck's sake, didn't deserve to die? We were supposed to get rid of him, because that's just what he deserves.
Bonnie from the mill came and took the dog before we got to him.
Well, fuck me. How much more is that girl going to steal before she has enough?
Oh, she'll take better care of him than Baysar did. All he needs is to be fed properly, and he won't be dangerous anymore.
I surely fucking hope not. Because if he runs off and ravages something or someone again, then we didn't help at all. Let's go before we start looking suspicious.
Pulang.
So this is it. This is the pit.
Slowly, boy. Slowly. Have a bit of respect. Death always deserves respect, whether it's people or animals.
But there's hardly 3 heaps here. Is this really it? Are you yanking my pizzle again?
Of course not. True, it used to be one big pit. But then I found out when you pile up carcasses in smaller pits and throw some wet hay between them, it it all rots better. And the better it rots, the more niter you'll have. Are you going to take some right away?
I won't. The miller will probably send some people here.
Well, they'd better not dig it all up. That'd disturb the natural balance, see? And soon they'll find out there's no place to find saltpeter.
Well, I reckon I'm delaying the inevitable. I'll still have to taste it.
You're going to taste it?
It's the only way I can be certain it really is saltpeter.
God's nails. Unless say I'm disgusting. Wait a moment. I've got a reward for you. Just so's you don't think old Ignatius and his even older nags is ungrateful riffraff. Take it as a thanks for your help. Maybe you'll take over my trade one day when I'm pushing up daisies myself.
Who knows? Maybe that'll really be my fate. I'll live at the cemetery, build piles of carcasses, and eat bread with saltpeter.
Here's something that'll definitely come in handy if you ever need to go through all this again. Either with me or somewhere else.
Thanks.
Taste it then. Get to it. This
Make
I've
her
got to see.
Make a glove. Tapi ini bagus loh. Lebih bagus dari yang gua pakai sebelum. Guys.
You didn't have to make such a feast of it.
Look at me. I'm a lord's messenger to a taster of cadavers. Cold and salty.
Report back gitu. Travel from this location.
If you're going back to your cottage, I'd like to take a ride with you.
Of course. But in return, you have to help me get all this lot buried. So there's some more saltpeter in the making. You have a kind master, eh, Mutt?
Here, Mutt.
Miller.
Hey, I've got some nice stuff here, if you're interested.
I'm interested. Greetings. Where are you going? Oh, don't worry. I'm no footpad.
And I'm no hawker. But pray tell, what ails you, friend?
Oh, plenty. But nothing you can help me with, I'm sure.
Can you be quite sure of that? I tend to be quite skilled at relieving people of pain and other afflictions, Henry.
Wait, how do you know my name?
It's this confounded nature of mine. I loiter around, I listen, and I remember.
Hold on. What's your name and how do you know me? In whose service are you?
Naturally, there is a master I serve, though not in the manner you might think. And as for my name, I am... Balthazar.
You're following me? Are you out to kill me? Who hired you? Speak!
Henry, that's deplorably paranoid of you. Why on earth would I be stalking you? After all, nobody has paid me to do such a thing, and I do not work for free. Whether I am to thrust a dagger in someone's back or slip poison into their wine.
My God. Who are you?
You hold no interest for me. At least, not yet. Well, unless you have toothache, perhaps. And so I ask, does anything ail you?
If you know me so well, then surely you know why I'm here.
Actually, no. In point of fact, because everyone chooses their own path, and I am not a soothsayer, Henry. But perhaps you are referring to the ambush at the pond.
Wow.
The unfortunate incident that happened to you afterwards.
Huh? What? How the hell do you know all this?
As I say, I wander the world, and I listen to people.
Well, show me what you have to offer, surgeon.
Are you sure you want to know?
I mean your wares. What wares can you offer me?
Strong Night Hawk. Quick Finger. Boleh deh. Yang aku butuh ini deh, sungguh. Baik. Basi.
I'd like to discuss...
Well... Fine. Excellent. You made a fine purchase, good sir.
Lanjutkan perjalanan. Apa lo ya? Oke deh. Report to Miller.
Praise the Lord. God bless.
You seem like a reasonably educated man, Crazel.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I reckon you know some interesting and useful things. If you share them with me, it'll make it easier to endure all that bullshit you spew.
I'm glad you know what you're getting yourself into. Are you interested in the theory of light, kinetics, or vacuums?
That's a bit too fast for me. What I need is the basics.
I have no time for the basics.
I'll be happy to give you some groschen for your troubles.
All right. But don't forget, this will take some time. Throw in a few coins and I'll teach you whatever you want.
For instance, I'd like...
I see. Let's get to work.
I'd like to...
Well, all right. For a few Oh, that's a... You need to... Let's get...
I found the place where we can harvest saltpeter. You just head out of Troskovitz towards Apollonia, carry on alongside the road, then head off it at the right spot. Only it's not a pit, it's 3 piles of earth. The gravedigger Ignatius drove me there himself.
And is it the real stuff? Did you taste it?
Yeah. And I hope I never have to do that again. Ugh. I think the experience has changed me forever.
Oh, come on. You whine more than Zinnik. It's just commonplace salt. I was hoping it'd be closer. To go all the way to Apollonia. If I send 2 wagons, that should be enough.
What should I do?
That means I could mix a barrel and a half.
Crazel, focus. What else do you need from me?
Oh, sorry. What were you asking? About a reward? It's right here.
Thanks. How's it going with the golem?
Well, the whole thing is really appealing to a scholar of my field of interest and important for humanity. But certain circumstances have emerged which, unfortunately, move its creation somewhere further into the future.
Wait, what do you mean? So there won't be any golem?
Not for now.
What about all the niter? The life essence?
I admitted to myself it's maybe too much to take on, and I decided to go back to my roots.
So the search for saltpeter was for nothing?
Not at all. The saltpeter will help us create primordial matter. The origin. Chaos. Materia prima.
God. Here we go again.
As alchemical scholars, we actually have only one task before us. To penetrate the diaphanum and find out where it gets its disposition and power from. Only then will we understand the nature of the shadows.
Eh?
I'll explain it to you.
Tell me then. So what's the next task, Crazel?
There's a quiet whisper coming from the open gates of Trotsky, carried by the wind all the way here to me. Do you hear it too?
No. I reckon my ears aren't that good.
Scribe Erzim received a chest from Prague. And in that chest...
Hermes Trismegistos' document?
No. A book. And from an author even more venerable than Hermes. It's thin with a sand-colored cover, embossed.
Juga nyolong
Ordinary at first glance. But
dokumen dari
treasures inside.
scribe di
You might
kastil.
say it's a kind of alchemist cookbook.
So you're gonna have me go and pick some locks at the castle, eh?
Did I say anything about stealing? No. When the castle was still closed, I planned to get the book through the castle chamberlain, with the help of a certain woman. But now that you have access to Trotsky yourself, it'll be much simpler.
What about that certain woman? What was your plan?
That's old news. The central figure is now the Trotsky scribe, Erzim. He's a great lover of knowledge. I'm sure he'd be happy to indulge another kindred soul and lend him the book, indefinitely and voluntarily.
Let's hope so. I'll pray I'll be able to convince him, and that I won't have to ride around Trotsky picking up carcasses again. Or worse.
Just do your best. The book is the last piece of the puzzle. The very last. But, looking back at your 2 previous tasks, I have no doubt you'll be able to handle the third just as well. Go and see Erzim and ask him about the book. Then, you'll see how difficult it will be to get your hands on it. Best of luck, Henry.
I reckon I'll need it. What's new around here?
Nothing much, lad.
I've travelled half the region on account of your saltpeter. So I think it's time you told me something about yourself.
I think by now you know who I am, and what my place in the world is. This is where I stand, and over there is my mill. I'm just an ordinary miller, with an extraordinary interest in the way the world runs.
Well, at least tell me why you've settled in Lower Semine, of all places.
Isn't it obvious? It's the arse end of the world. It's peaceful here. At least it was until you came around and started asking questions.
What? Suruh ke Trotsky. Check with the scribe. Find the book for Miller. Kasih mereka dulu kan. Di mana ya ini? Masih ada kah? Atau udah pulang?
I reckon he's taking revenge. I've got that loot for you.
Incredible! Magnificent! Fascinating.
You really got it! Give me that lovely thing so I can fondle her.
Such a noble instrument is just begging to celebrate art and life.
It's like it's saying, hey, with me in your hands, you'll be able to grab any wench you want.
How can you take such a fine thing and abuse it for vulgar gain?
Abuse? No, friend. Put to good use.
Come on, play me something, will you?
Give me a moment. I just have to hold it like this, and...
What's that you up there? Hey, let me see. How the hell do you... hold it? Oh, and tiny tits, like a pair of cherry pits. Uh-oh.
Christ, no!
The idiot broke the strings!
What are you doing, you idiot? Do you know what I had to do to get that loot?
I'm sorry, but... mate, I'll best be off now, eh?
Fuck! Shit! You fucking whoreson! Your ma should have dumped you on the manure heap the moment you were born. What's gonna happen with that loot?
Use it for firewood. It'll burn nicely with that lacquer.
What? Henry, sick him! I mean, give him what for?
Hey, why don't we all just simmer down? After all, it was an accident.
Yeah, of course it was an accident. I was just... I wanted to...
Medium.
Give it a stroke.
There you go. Now apologise nicely and clear off.
All right. I'm sorry. Sorry. Forget me. Forgive me. Forget it.
Now what are we supposed to do? Without strings, it's just firewood, you know?
Our dreams are shattered. The rose-tinted skies of glory are obscured by dark
Ini
clouds.
stringnya kah?
We'll be toiling in filth till we breathe our last.
Farewell to Kuttenberg. Farewell to you lovely city damsels.
We could replace those strings with new ones, couldn't we?
Look, old pal. Henry himself is offering to lend a hand.
The hunter Vostatek told me once that he made some strings for someone. He can make some for us.
Vostatek? I know him. In fact, he owes me.
Really? Damn. Too bad he doesn't owe us. Who knows what he'll charge me and Michael for the strings?
Sometimes the price is just too high to pay.
Especially when you ain't got a groschen to your name.
Dua orang ini cuma pakai mulut dong anjir.
All right. I'll go and see what he says.
All praise and glory to you. May you and all your kin be honored for 7 generations for all you have done for us unfortunate artists.
Praise the Lord. Careful.
Ada.
Praise God.
Nolong. Tempat tidurnya di mana? Aku mau save dulu. Tidur yang dikasih. Sini kah? Yang nggak ada save berarti nggak ada. Apa sih yo? Oh, ini. Tidur. Udah save. Link. Tempat tidur mereka. Iya. Jangan deh. Gak mau bangun dia. No. Iya. Iya. Ya ada anaknya nih. Anaknya tidur di mana? Ini bukan anaknya. Bukan juga. Oh ini. $200 aja. Empat kaya. Aku gak mau ambil item sih. Duit doang. Kunci. Juga berapa jam? Waduh. Efek ini masih ada. Terang banget anjir. Efek itu obatnya masih ada. Oh, gimana hilangin ya? Sekali bro. Silau nih. Sorry deh.
Good
Mana
morning.
suami lu?
See you soon, my friend.
Suaminya mana? D bawah. Hah?
I'm trying to get strings for a loop, and I hear you know all about that.
I do, but it ain't so straightforward. You have to sacrifice an animal for that.
You mean an altar? Candles, mysterious chanting and stuff?
Nah, nothing like that. You just have to get a sheep, find the thinnest gut, and weave strings from it. You can eat the rest.
I don't know how to gut animals.
Well, you're just gonna have to learn. Run along to the woods and bag a deer or a few hares, eh? You won't get much of any use out of them at first, but after a bit of practice, you'll get there.
And meanwhile, I'll clear half your forest of game.
You'd have your work cut out, lad. But if you'd rather, you can always buy those guts from a butcher.
Isn't there any other way?
Look, lad, I told you what you wanted to know. I'll make lute strings for you if you bring me the sheep gut.
Roskowit jual kah? Ada ya? Dead soldier. Terang sekali bro. Udah dikosongin duitnya. Tak ada duit.
Look what I have for you.
Jual daging di bendera gua masih di sono. Oke banget. Ini masih lama lagi gua pakai yang strong anjir. Belum buka. Makan deh.
Christ, what a day.
Wah, time skip deh. Finally.
Good doggy. Good boy.
Jual sip gut.
Show me your...
Ada ya. Mana jual sip gut? Oh, ada. Beberapa beli semua deh.
Thank you, and a good day to you, friend.
I could eat.
I've got that sheep gut for you.
I hope you killed the poor creature before you pulled it out of its rectum. Or did you chicken out and buy it somewhere? Not that I care. Wait here a while and I'll make them strings for you.
Okay.
You have a kind master, eh?
Here, mutt.
And he did it all wrong. He's a complete fucking...
Now, fellas. You're not going to squabble like children, are you?
Keep your nose out of it, all right? This slob here empties his chamber pot in my yard every day.
That piece of yard is mine.
And again, there's a fence.
Which has no business being there.
Can you explain to me what's going on?
This is dumping his shit in my yard. What don't you understand?
Except the yard is mine.
The fence is where it is for a reason. For the 1000th time, you saggy-bald whoreson. If you want to complain, go to the bailiff.
And I'm telling you, for the 1000th time, I have no wish to talk to the magistrate when he's your brother-in-law. I'd rather have nails hammered up my arse.
Keep fucking with me, and that's exactly what you'll get.
Tuh punya relasi dengan bailiff. Bailiff itu kayak polisi lah.
Look, how about this? You let him dump his shit on your dung pile, and you give him some apples in return. Instead of bickering over that patch of yard, you can share it equally.
What? No way!
He's not getting my apples, not for anything.
If your neighbour isn't happy about where the fence is, I think you should try to work something out.
We are working something out, if you hadn't noticed. So stop sticking your oar in and let us get on with it.
You think it's right to pour your piss pot over the fence? Even if it is your land, that kind of stuff belongs on a dunghill, doesn't it?
That's exactly what I'm doing. This prick put his dunghill there, and I begged him not to. My apples are crawling with flies.
Your apples are all maggoty because you're a shite gardener, you prick.
You're both idiots.
And what's it to you, anyway?
That's the first sensible thing you've said all day. We'll teach you not to meddle in other people's business.
What?
What the hell?
What? Itu. Jagoan di mana-mana. Lu gak tahu apa?
Show what you're made of.
I'll rip your arms open.
You want to try me?
Champion. Tahu.
I'm all yours.
Masa kabur lu? Sini.
What are you? Fuck this!
Wait.
Wake up! Quick!
PC-nya peduli loh.
You silly doggy.
So here you are. Now I've got you.
That's him! Get him!
You don't fight with guards, you fool! You surrender to them!
Okay, surrender.
Wait! I surrender! So you wanted to fight, eh? Pay up, or I'll show you what we do with scum like you.
Well, you know who I am.
I didn't want to get into a brawl.
You didn't? Then why did you start one?
Because he shoved me. He shoved me. And the horrible things he said about my mother, well, rather not repeat them.
I don't know anything about any of that.
But that's just it. I wish I didn't either. Is this how you treat strangers around here?
Now take it easy. I'm sure this was just a misunderstanding.
Maksud baik damaikan malah
how the
jadi
hills
masalah.
shall ring out in gladness to their
Lu belum tidur
glorious
apa morning person?
We'll fix the
Belum
loot
tidur.
and head off for Kuttenberg, fame and fortune. All praise to you, friend.
Right. I hope that's all you need.
If only, Henry, old pal. It's just there's still one little fuck up. Friend, we have a problem. The innkeeper doesn't want us to
Lagi.
leave. Says Kuttenberg isn't the place for us.
Can you imagine? He who never set foot outside his village wants to block 2 free souls in their path to fame.
And fortune.
And recognition.
And under the skirts of town maidens.
Beast. In short, dear friend, you must have a word with him. You're worldly wise. He's sure to listen more to you than to us.
Hang on. How can the innkeeper keep you from going anywhere?
Well,
Utang.
you know.
Pasti dua orangnya
Capable of
utang.
grasping that the artistic soul needs
Minum
to
gak
fly
bayar.
free as a bird.
Aye, he's an
Ignoramus.
Besides, we owe him a bit of coin.
Bah kan?
Well, why don't you pay him back then?
That's just it. We'd love to. We could always scrape together a few groschen.
But it's not coin he's after. He wants us to work off our debt.
He lets you two drink on credit? How so?
Because he's a damn crook.
He knows we can't pay back our debt outright, but he counts every wretched sip we take and adds it to the burden we have to shoulder.
Why do I have to be the one to solve it for you?
Because we don't have time. We have to concentrate on composing our songs, creating art. Art!
Believe me, friend, once we get to Kuttenberg and make a shitload of coin, we'll pay you back double.
Tell you what, tenfold.
Ya nanti bakal ketemu mereka lagi nih game map baru.
Well, why don't you just up and run for it?
And sully our honor? Never.
And also, the innkeeper would tell the bailiff and he'd come looking for us. We don't want to end up in the stocks.
I'll have a word with him, and we'll see what happens.
That's the spirit.
Let's drink to that!
I hear Michael and George have run up a small debt with you.
A small debt? They owe me a whole heap of work, my friend. A month ago, I told them to dig a hole for shit behind the barn, and I'm still waiting. There's a privy there, but now it's full. The shit has nowhere to go but downhill. It's flowing down to the bathhouse. The other day, they promised that if I poured them a drink, they'd haul sacks of chaff to the barn.
Kurang asem. Dua orang ini cuma mulut doang, nggak mau kerja.
Down sausages till they were as greasy as a cart axle. But that chaff is
Say.
still out in the damp and rain.
So, haul some sacks and empty the latrine. And then the debt is paid?
Aye, but I'll bet my boots that even if those two miraculously got off their asses, they'd still manage to rack up another debt in no time.
Couldn't someone else do the work instead of Michael and George? They'd just do a shoddy job anyway. You know them.
Well, they'd have to do it again then. I'm telling you. Until the chaff's undercover and the latrine's clean enough to eat out of, them two owe me.
Forget about those two fools. You're not responsible for their upbringing. A decent pile of coin could smooth everything over, couldn't it? I'll give you the coin for some hired hand to do the job.
Well, that pile of groschen will have to be mighty big. Cleaning out the privy's going to be a nasty job.
Apa?
Do you accept?
More.
Oh.
Well, now, everyone should be satisfied. Good trade makes good friends, eh?
Udah.
What's going on?
Nothing, if you're...
Perlu kerja, bayar.
The stress is...
I squared things with the innkeeper. Your debt's been settled.
Our savior. We knew you'd support our artistic souls and save our mortal bodies.
May your name live in glory.
Your glory shall be sealed by the song we wrote for you.
Oh my God, what have you done?
Fuck yeah. For you and about you, our hero.
What?
Definitely not going to sing those words, right?
Which words?
You know exactly
I'm
the words.
just joking. Right, you ready?
Can't tune the strings.
You've got one job. Good? Right.
When it seems you're out of luck,
There's just one man who gives a fuck.
a friend who'll never leave you stuck. Now who can that friend be?
Well?
Ludiek?
Henry, our hero Henry, the fellow who helps his fellow man. Henry, reliable Henry, he gets the job done the best he can. Oh, oh, oh.
Watch out, here we go.
Oh, oh. I can't hear you in the back.
When you want to string your lute and trumpet with your back drum,
Who will pull a sheep gut out through the creature's rectum? Oh, Henry, we thank you.
Bikin malu anjir.
The fellow who helps his fellow man.
his fellow man.
Henry, let's drink to Henry. He gets the job done the best he can. Yeah!
Suara sapi.
So,
Kenal tak kenal.
how did you like it?
Weren't we fantastic? I tell you, that loot really gave it a punch.
I'd say we were incomparable. Chi la dura la vince. You can't keep a good man down. The world awaits us.
Awaits us with open arms.
Absolutely great. Amazing. breathtaking.
Ha ha! I knew it!
If our first song is so successful, just imagine how our next one will be received.
We'll conquer the fucking world!
Dear Enrico, thank you for everything. It's time for us to shake the dust of this God-forsaken place off our feet and seek our fortune in the big wide world.
Kunberg, here we come!
New life, here we come.
Yang bawa belur dipukul tadi.
I wish you good fortune. Maybe we'll meet again one day.
If you come to Kuttenberg, you will surely hear of us. Farewell.
Farewell!
Sakit loh. Yang suka sembarangan mukul orang Roski nih. Roski Castle.
Look what I have for you.
Praise God.
Catherine.
Excuse me. Good evening, Henry.
Same to you, Hans. I'd like to learn a new
Certainly.
Technique.
I like a long sword, but such a hit with the... Would you like me to...
Maxim blow. Long sword, huh?
I'll show you how... All right. Attack. Oh, now come and... All good? No learning has ever fallen...
I'd like to...
Certain. If you're on... I was taught... But of course, first, it won't... Now come and try... Good. Good.
Excellent. Kiri, bawah, kanan. Malam di tengah-tengah semua udah tertidur. Saya kembali beraksi. Minum itu lagi. Nah, misi gua disuruh A. Dia di bangunan ini kan. Chapel kah? Mana kira-kira? Oh, dia tidur di sini. Iya. Buku semua gua ambil lah ya. Sorry kalau buku gua mau nyolong. Penting, sekolah tuh penting. Udah belum? Where in the world? Alchemy book from Alchemy book. Gua ambil banyak banget. Colong. Udah baca ini kan. Bukan ini, bukan itu. Sini juga. Lagi buku. Ada lagi sih. Ngambang. Ini juga gak ada. Mesti nanya dia kah? Wah, buku dia banyak hilang. Kalau Wan nanya dia soal buku, kan logikanya sih nggak ada nih. Bisa nanya dia doang ya. jam 2. Gua amankan dulu. Itemnya kalau tol kuda katanya aman. Betul, bro. Tinggalnya bos gak di sini kan ya? Gua masuk kamarnya ini. Oh. Gua save dulu deh. Cari aman. Di sini kah? Ya, tidur di sini kan? Oh, yang ini nggak bisa di-rob anjay. Wow. Amazing. Satu-satunya NPC yang kebal. Nggak bisa di-rob. Sorry. Looking for book. Ah. Very hot. Ambilin di mana ya? Gina. Love letter. Nggak tahu tuh. Iya. Dia yang paham. Ada satu ranjang kosong. Apa yang tidur di sono? Wah, ini kamar Henry apa Hans? Oh iya, hampir kepencet. Pencet talk sama dia, kan nggak lucu. Pelakuan yang sangat bagus dia ya. Sambelnya di atas kah? Jam si saya nggak di sini lagi sih. Oh, bisa jadi di chapel ya. Buku apa itu? Dari pindahin si Thomas. Ying die. Wow. Ambil deh. Sorry, sangat menggoda itu. Ada chest, gak ada apa-apa di sini. Ada chest sih, tapi gak ada barang. Lagi nih. Ya, kembali. Save awal tidur gitu. Gua ngomong sama si kayak soal buku. Kira dia curiga gak? Jongkok jalan cepet banget. Urban evasion. Kesurupan apa nih, boy?
There now.
Ini Nur ini sama gua.
Here, Mutt.
Excuse me?
Bangun belum dia? Nah, cari tuh. Angka kelinci itu udah berarti sudah ada yang lapor. Sudah ada laporan barang hilang.
God be with
That's
you.
not bad at all.
Keep the peace. We'll stay friends.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, and I appreciate Nickvard's help, but he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return
Ini
it,
dipinjam
but he's
ada
been
dia.
avoiding me.
I'll have a talk with Nickvard and find out what the problem is.
You think I haven't tried? But since you've already offered to address this pressing situation, listen to what I've learned. It seems Nickvard lost
the book.
I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickvard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
The price of such a book must be incalculable. People like Nickvard are too dumb to understand.
But I digress. As I said, Nickvard is intentionally avoiding me. But I've made headway. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently. Bertha, the cook, Regina, the maid, and Hirsch, the hand.
I reckon those aren't the only 3 people that know him.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to anyone but myself. Nickvard is a loner, which is also why I suspect something bad has happened. Now that he's decided to leave his shell, that is. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkove's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they lead me to Nickvard.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll discuss what you found out.
I won't keep you any longer.
Gua tahu ini 2 orang itu. Table boy.
Greetings.
Bertha.
Do you need something?
Bertha, instead of devils, I need your help now with Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Well, I'm waiting for Lord Libac to stop by. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I don't even know if the last one helped. I told him to stop by for another one soon. I reckon he must be feeling better.
Nickvard needed medicine? For what?
I can't say. I promised Lord Libac his secret is safe with me, as well as his phial of medicine.
Oh, come now. Nickvard misplaced an important book somewhere. A sort of alchemist cookbook. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And Lord Libac's secret is certainly worth more than any book.
Dia gak mau ngomong. Right.
Listen, Bertha.
Yang tinggi ini 25 27.
I truly respect your honesty. I'm in the service of a nobleman myself, and I know what's expected of us in cases like these, whether it's Nickvard's illness or political machinations over the fate of our kingdom. Both carry equal weight when spoken about behind closed doors, I'd say. I stand by my principles in matters like that.
Lord Libac's troubles can hardly compare to what you're talking about. It's really quite a trifle in comparison.
So you'll tell me then?
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go down easier and come out slower the other end. In that regard, Lord Libac had, well, how to say it? Everything came out much too quickly.
Oh, diare dia.
Nickvard didn't have time to run down the stairs, eh?
It was in the privy down below the crone, by the training ground below the guardhouse. I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine, and I promised that I wouldn't say anything. Lord Libac is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maids, you know. He didn't want this little episode to put them off. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters, though it's closer to his chamber, but to the arena instead, and only when there weren't any soldiers around. But this time, it caught up with him.
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst thing in the world. It happens to the best of us, and I told him as much then. I'm just surprised he never came back for another file. I must say, he did look as if the fate of the entire castle was suddenly on his shoulders.
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have found a worse clue.
Thanks anyway.
Oh ya, Regina di mana dong?
I apologize.
What are you gaping at?
Me, sir.
Who do you think? Don't you have any work to do?
I just stopped for a moment's rest. There's nothing wrong with that.
You can stand and stare once you've finished.
But I...
Don't talk back to me. Get to work.
Regina di mana? Ya pelayan ini ya. Pelayan Otto ya. Ini dia.
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nickvard?
Itemnya udah gue culi nih. Hah? Udah di aku nih.
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers.
Oh, masih bisa loh.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capen. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you.
Ya, di sini ada bug.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the
Bisa
dungeon
jadi
of
raja.
those two women.
Enggak.
Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
That was complete nonsense. I was embarrassed to read it.
Imagine how I felt having to listen to it.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Liebach has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. But he thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's potion book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I need help. You can give it some thought, can't you?
No! And now leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Stable boy itu siapa? Apa stable boy ini?
I'm sorry. Good doggy. Good boy. What are you here for?
Kan dia ya. Di mana stable boy? Hers. Mana hers? Stable boy. Mana sih hers? Cari. Matthew. Oh, di sini dia harusnya. Stable boy, ini stable.
I heard they're going to cut down the old oak at the crossroads. Oh no. Why? A lovely tree like that. It's a nice place to rest when you're passing by in the summer. The only bit of shade far and wide. That's just it. Some noble was resting under it. Not for shade, but because it was pissing down.
Hold up.
Servus, guter Mann. What can I do for you?
I'm a servant of Lord Capon. Who do you serve?
I'm the bailiff of the town of Turnov. And your lord... Ich hatte bereits das Vergnügen mit ihm. Ich bin froh, they did not hang him.
Yeah.
That would have been an awful shame. Though mainly for him and all his family.
It was a mistake worthy of punishment.
As a bailiff, I know very well how to handle poachers. Aber ja, du hast recht. In the case of the Lord of Lipa, the law is on his side.
Really?
Aber ja, as nobility,
Yang dipegang omongannya.
he should have only paid a heavy
Yeah.
fine for hunting animals in another lord's estate. Er würde nicht be hanged like a common thief.
Why did you come to Trotsky?
As a bailiff, I have Lehendienst meines Herrn.
What was that?
Leibeigenschaft. Ich bin ein Vasall von Herrn Otto von Bergo.
So he summoned you to his castle?
Me and 20 men of our town militia. It seems there is some vermin running rampant on the estate. And it is high time someone wrung their necks. Wiedersehen, Mann.
Mana stable boy
I'm
lo?
sorry.
Haben sie more? Boy, stable boy.
I'm sorry. God bless.
Here, Mutt.
Cari di mana? Harus kah? Saya mana? Harus. Table not east side of the castle. Noise.
I'm telling you, it was just one mass.
You don't care about us at all. Why did you marry that old battle axe anyway? We could have been together in this.
ApplePay, step. Cuman ini doang.
Hail.
Oh, you pooch.
Apa nih?
Who are you, Sir Knight? Sorry, I'm not from around here, and I don't know many people.
Das sind mir ja schon zwei. I'm neither a knight nor a local, but I'm not far off. I am the custodian of the Großgall in the service of Lord von Berghoff.
And what does your service entail?
Die sind nicht der Rede wert. I'm simply a farmer, but when the need arises, I must fulfill my combat duty.
So you have a farm?
Oh ja, ganz recht. And quite a nice one. The harvest hasn't been too bad these last few years, but a man must not be afraid of hard work.
What are you doing here at Trotsky?
Ist das nicht offensichtlich? Sir Otto has bandits in his domain, and he needs to tan their hides good and proper.
I also had a bad experience. Our entire company was slaughtered.
Ein schreckliches Gemetzel. I heard about it. I've heard they are damn clever. Not like the idiots who head to the nearest tavern after a robbery. But I have experience with their type as well. Do not worry.
Kita masih aman. Sampai pagi gini. Sekarang masih aman. Stable Boy ngurusnya kuda kan. Gak ada. Siap, soldier biasa.
Exactly. And that's not all. The dead man had a gold chain.
Ini ada kuda juga nih.
Greetings to you.
Paper Boy, sini kah?
What can you do? Oh, we didn't have such dice when I was.
Tadi gua udah datang.
You silly doggy.
Mana sih Hirsch?
Throw them again. That's all there is to it.
That's what I call...
Transport yard. Ini apa tuh transport yard?
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that, of course.
Ah, well. But I reckon you're right. Prayer is the only thing that can help me now.
What would you like?
God be with you, my friend.
Mirip, tapi tak sama. Tas gini kali ya.
Good to see ya.
Cheers. I hope you have an uneventful shift.
Sesi gede. Gak ada spesifik sih, susah nyarinya. Seasonic. Di luar castle. Rumah itu dikit. Situ. Ini kalau lurus bisa ketemu kan? Ini.
Good day to you. I'm looking for Nick Vard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Hey, Nick. I mean, Lord Liback. I almost forgot about him. I suppose his task wasn't so pressing, hmm?
What do you mean, forgot?
Nick Liback, that is, entrusted me with a big task quite a while back. He's a castle lord. Obviously, I had to obey him. But then I heard what another castle lord was planning, von Berghoff, and I had to obey him even more. He says there's a war on. So here I am, ready to go off to battle.
I need to know more about what Nick Vard asked you to do.
No. There are new rules now. You have to prove you're not a spy.
What are you blathering about?
Von Berghoff said there's a war on, right now. I told him, watch out for spies, Sir Otto. But fear not, I know how to sniff them out. You're a spy yourself, ain't you?
I'm not.
Ha! That's exactly what a spy would say.
That's why you have to be vetted, to see if you're really on our side, the side that Nickvard's on, just so you know. We're all friends here. You can join us.
I'd like to.
Hold your horses. First, a test.
Tell me what you want from me, then.
A sword.
Sword? Hmm? What sword?
A long and very good one to help me deal with other spies. If you bring it to me, I'll know you're not an enemy spy who should fear me. Forge one, buy one, or even steal one for me. Maybe from one of the guards at the training ground or down by the gate. During the day, they're not in the towers anyway.
Steal a sword? That sounds like something a spy would do.
Not a spy who wants to help von Berghoff's most loyal servant. By servant, I mean me. See, once I get a sword, I'll fill you in on Nickvard's task.
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
I don't want an invisible sword.
I'll think of a way to...
Di lu ada kan slot.
About Nick...
Got that...
You wanted a...
That's perfect. Lovely. I don't think you're a spy. Can't say for sure, but you seem all right.
What about Nickvard, then?
Nickvard asked me to do something for him. He must have admired my devotion to Lord von Berghoff. Either way, Nick looked troubled and not very healthy. He wanted me to fetch him something he lost outside the castle. And I told him I would. At least I could check to see if anyone was sneaking around about the castle. But then Nickvard clutched his belly and ran off. So I never found out what he wanted, or from where.
That's all?
Aye. If you run into Nickvard, ask him if he still needs it or whether he found it himself. I'll be going into war soon, so I don't have time for these things, see?
I'll tell him.
Terus ngomong sama ini kah? Ngomong sama scribe.
Excuse me.
About that lost alchemy book.
Please tell me you found it.
Not yet. But I searched for Nickvard, and I have some clues.
Tell me what you've learnt, then.
It looks like Nickvard brewed some sort of potion from the book. He told Regina it would restore his youth, but the potion didn't sit well with him. He must have spent a lot of time on the privy at the training grounds below the Crone. Bertha brewed a digestive potion for him, but it didn't work. When he wasn't shitting or writing notes to servants,
sama dengan tombol
he
high
asked
camera.
Hirsch to bring him something from beyond the castle walls. He lost something there, and then he vanished without a trace.
What do you think about it?
You said that Nickvard had a habit of carrying books everywhere with him. If that was the case with the alchemy one, it's possible it fell down the latrine while he was shitting by the training ground. And now it's lying somewhere on the cliffs beyond Trotsky.
That actually sounds quite likely to me. Let's pray he didn't use it to wipe himself. Go there and look. Perhaps you'll find the book, and Nickvard too.
Dari tempat ini. Toiletnya ngalir kemana gitu. Konyol. Baru aja dealing dengan bangkai ya kan, sekarang dealing dengan tai.
I'm always glad to see polite people like you.
Pas keluar ya, keluar castle ya. Toiletnya di sini soalnya. Ngalir kemana ini?
Here you go. Take it.
Yang salah dengan kuda gua, sungguh.
Easy, easy. Nice and slow.
Yang ngalir kemana? Air gak? Seram juga. Toiletnya ngalir ke air atau langsung truk-klop jatuh gitu. Wah, ini kayaknya. Banyak tai gitu. Well. Kuning-kuning gitu. Oh ya. Oh benar kayak gini. Air sih. Ya kuda gua pergi lagi sendiri. Dia mau kemana sebenarnya? Dia kayak jadi kuda liar aja. Mana cari buku yang satu ini? Dia masih di dalam gitu. Masih diare dia. Dikeluarin isinya di mana tuh?
Has to be me
Bro.
standing over the body. What a fucking day.
You must be Nick Vard, eh? Poor wretch.
Good day. You have a kind master, eh, Mutt? Where's that damned gravedigger?
Bukunya di
Another senseless death.
like bring a
Bantu
secret.
cover, embossed. That'll be the
Me
book Crazel
standing over the
wants.
body.
But
What
it's
a
quite ordinary,
fucking day.
apart from being covered in shit.
Langsung gua kasih gitu.
Did you hear about what happened at the big wheel?
At the mill?
Yeah. Hey, fellow!
I see you had some luck on your hunt.
Well, that's none of your concern. Unless you're some damned gamekeeper.
And if I were?
Well, whoever the hell you are, it makes no difference. We're just doing our job. And for the king at that.
I'm curious to know what a royal official is doing here, caked in mud, and with a dead hare to boot.
Well, I don't think it's any of your business, lad. Unless the bailiff sent you, eh?
No, I'm not from these parts. Just passing through.
Huh. That's what I like to hear. Very good.
You think I don't know what you are? You may be covered in grime, but judging by your clothes, you're no beggar. And if you're licensed to hunt game, it's obvious.
Well, now I'm curious. What do you think me and Vashek are doing here?
Your prospectus. You're looking for silver, of course.
Well now, you're no one's fool, that's for sure. But keep it to yourself that you saw us.
Ah, no worries on that score. Your secret's safe with me. In Skalitz, there's silver beneath every stone, so I know what's what.
So, you hail from Skalitz, friend. Good to hear. I once did some work up that way. For the Sasau Monastery it was. Long time ago now, though. Forgive my coarseness. At first, I thought you were some prying nobody. Vashek and I are getting bored here, waiting for our workmen to turn up. Care to shoot off a few arrows with us? I mean, if you know how. What do you say?
I'm always game for archery.
All right. What's it to be?
Crossbow.
Yeah.
Cuman basi doang. Miller, di mana kau?
God bless.
Gue ada dapat
I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I had a peek inside. The pictures are nice, but what do you want to learn from them?
You'll find out soon enough. Show me that miraculous thing. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
Let's just say the scribe didn't have it. It actually wasn't even in the castle. Under it, really.
Oh, refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistos. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertolt? Oh, God damn it, Crazer. What's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead.
Ini saatnya gue lapor
Gonna
balik.
get a few things ready here.
All right then. I hope you keep your word this time.
Yep. Saatnya gue lapor nih. Udah save dah. Apa belakang ya? Udah save. Gue ada deal sama si Bailiff. Kalau orang-orang Miller tuh kumpul di satu tempat, lapor saya. Jual dia. Nah, iya.
It's time for the rat house to make a move on Crazel.
Do we have enough evidence to lock that rabble up? Tell me.
You might want to sit down for this, Thrush. Crazel has something that would allow him to raise the whole of Trotsky to the ground if he wanted to.
My God, how? Tell me.
Listen.
Goddamn Crazel.
What now?
It's time to put an end to it. I'll take a few men, and we'll head to that lair of theirs. Show us the way.
Ding.
Is there anyone missing here?
No. This is the whole gang.
Master Bailiff, what are you doing out here? In the forest? Such a rare honor.
The game is up, Crazel. In the name of the king, you'll tell me every last detail of what's going on here.
Of course. My conscience is clear. It's just that my apprentice here must have misunderstood the goal of our efforts. I assume that's why he brought you here.
Don't try to worm your way out of it. Henry here has cause to suspect something underhand is going on here.
You don't say. What sort of underhand things do you mean?
You sent me to steal the document from the rat house.
Don't associate me with thievery. You know I hate that word. The document was mine, and you decided on your own how to obtain it.
Horseshit. You've got all the thievery in the county under your thumb. Bonnie and Zinnik robbed a lot of poor farmers.
What my hands do behind my back is their own business. You can't prove any of it, Thrush.
I can't prove the thievery, Crazel. You're right about that. But I'll find plenty of evidence against you right here. The manufacture of black powder is a crime. I'm giving you one last chance to confess and avoid a visit to the torture chamber.
A crime? How could it be a crime? Is it a crime to walk down a path no one has walked before? To pick a flower no one has ever picked? Or to make love to a girl no one has ever made love to?
Dia mau bikin ini ternyata, mau bikin
You
apa?
know exactly what I'm talking about.
But you don't know what I'm talking about.
Powder,
You see the
gunpowder.
shadows on the wall, but you miss the flame casting them. You don't understand the world hidden behind the world of matter. You'll never know what it means to harness and control that matter. What it means to wield the power of fire.
And you don't know when to stop babbling about your delusions, because you just unwittingly confessed.
What the hell is going on here?
You don't know? I thought you'd be more insightful after all we've been through together.
You never were particularly outgoing.
And I see I wasn't wrong about you. You're just an ordinary fool. You fail to understand that behind my actions is nothing but a pure desire for true knowledge. To hell with a golem, the Kabbalah, shadows, and light. This is proof that knowledge is a weapon. This is real power. If it gets into the right hands, stone shall not be left upon stone.
Philip selalu
It'll tear
terlihat
down your
mabuk
whole
anjir.
old world, along with the church and all that shit around it. Then God's justice will finally come among men.
They're gonna kill me.
I'd truly like to see that.
Sero sapiunt frigus.
Don't hide behind Latin. Your university lectures won't save you. You underestimated us. Especially our scribe. He learned all about black powder and the danger it poses. I didn't catch you for thievery, but I'll have you for aiding and abetting outlaws. You'll hang. All of you.
I have nothing to do with outlaws. I swear. Do you think I'd share such a secret with anyone?
Then what did you want to do with black powder?
To try it out, to test its power.
And how would you do that? Blow up the rat house?
No. Why would you think that?
You spoke of the end of the old world. Where else would you start but in Droskowitz?
You're more conceited than I thought. You think everything revolves around you and your little rat house? Henry, for Christ's sake, say something. You know me. You must understand.
Perhaps he's telling the truth. Maybe he doesn't deserve to die.
It's too late for mercy now, Henry. I thought you were on our side.
There is only one wisdom and truth that is hidden in the very essence of things. You can't stop progress. There will be others after me. The discovery of black powder will eventually reach the people and serve the purpose for which God intended it. From the spark,
Mereka mau bikin gunpowder, tapi
and
itu
then
dilarang.
nothing will stop the coming of the new kingdom of God.
You might be right. But it'd be wiser not to start such experiments in these dark times. What would happen if Sigismund got his hands on this secret of yours? Or someone even worse than him?
You don't understand anything.
That's enough. Miller Crazel for rebellion against the king. And the order of the world in a time of war. I sentence you and your accomplices to death by hanging. The sentence shall be carried out immediately and on the spot, as is the custom when dealing with rebels like you. Men, hang them from the rafters in this hole of theirs. Let them swing there as carrion for the crows and a warning to others.
Mati semua.
I'm sorry, you shouldn't be bothering me.
Oh, nggak boleh masuk ah. Wah. Mati semua tuh. Tega banget. Kayaknya ini bukan jalan yang gua mau deh. Ya jadi dah. Doa ke rumahnya. Kata ini. Kata orang rumah dia. Nothing happened.
Good day to you.
Gak ada reaksi nih.
Greetings. See you later, my friend.
Nggak jadi deh. Tidak jadi lapor.
Excuse me.
Kenapa sih anjir ini kuda? Ya ampun.
Whoa. Go.
Ya benar anjir. Kalau jam ini kudanya udah gila. Udah gila. Dia.
Everything all right, eh? Whoa. What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Crazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully I'll finally find out what the point of all this was.
Or not, until you try another dose of niter.
I wouldn't do that to him. Not today. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part.
One more word, Zinek, and you'll get one on the nose.
Calm down, friend. I'm just kidding. Tell him then, Bonnie.
This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistos and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists.
our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
So you went to a university in Prague? The son of a miller?
Why not? My father worked his arse off, and he had the coin for it, miller or not. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
And what about your thirst for knowledge?
I realized I didn't need the university for things that are truly important. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean alchemy?
Exactly. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
What did your parents say when you returned from your studies?
My mother had already passed away. All my father said was, "I knew you'd be back." And he sent me to haul sacks of flour. I think in the end he was glad to have someone to take over the mill from him. From then on, alchemy became my true passion. I brought a few important books from Prague. I started with the most difficult thing. I tried to create gold.
That was pretty daring of you.
As you might expect, it didn't work. But after a few tries, I managed to create something entirely different. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
Suara tembakan tadi itu.
You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnig did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called Feuerwehr.
Feuerwerkbuch.
We can believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old
senapan mulai
world order.
muncul gitu.
It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Berthold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Berthold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
Before we get started, there's something I want to know. How did a scholar and an alchemist become a thief?
Prague is a big city, and a poor student has no chance of getting a decent place to sleep or even something to eat. Learning to shop with 5 fingers was the first requirement for survival. We're all masters of our own destiny.
Petani hidup di ibu kota.
This book, Feuerwerkbuch, what's written in it?
Everything you'd want to know about black powder. How to mix it in the proper ratio. How to store it. How to light it properly. And especially how to use it in warfare. Because that's the most important part, after all.
What is it you studied at the university?
I was supposed to become a preacher.
That fits you. Maybe you'd even be a good preacher.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't.
God has a path prepared for each of us. And each of us here decided not to follow it.
I was supposed to be a dyer, but I was too lazy to work 6 days a week and soak my hands in lye.
I was supposed to become a nun, but I didn't want to give up the booze and fellas.
And I've already told you everything. The world is what you make it.
Do you really need that much saltpeter?
We do. Saltpeter makes up almost 3/4 of the mixture. Not even all the cows in the region could produce enough for us once we really get started with manufacturing.
What is it you're going to do with this powder?
During wartime, like it is now, a flammable and explosive mixture like this has more uses than you can imagine. If we had a few big barrels of the stuff, we could demolish Trotsky if we wanted to. And maybe we will.
All of us here are truly passionate about the idea of a new world. And now it's within our grasp.
Haus akan pengetahuan. Ya. Di Eropa dulu itu hal beginian tuh bentrok dengan agama. Kayak paham tentang itu planet-planet gitu. Siapa namanya? Gara-gara pengetahuan dia apa yang dia sebarin tentang planet gitu beda sama agama sampai dihukum ya.
I've heard enough. Now I want to
Seiring
see
waktu
that with my
berjalan,
own eyes.
Let's do it
sains
then.
sudah mulai
Bonnie,
open.
is everything ready?
Indeed, it is.
Agama
We
udah
can
gak
get
bisa stop
started.
sains lagi.
Long live the beautiful new world.
Ini dia Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Ada senjata api. Tapi ini baru awal sih, cuma ini amunisi doang. Masih butuh waktu untuk bikin ini. Yang bisa ditembak. Kaget. Waduh, tikus.
Looks like it ain't working.
Tikusnya meninggal.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I Can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.
Wah, pendengarannya terganggu. Udah save kah? Oh, udah.
No splinters, white ash.
Here, Mutt.
Sedikit.
You really led me on about the gunpowder magazine, didn't you? A golem made of dough, souls inside saltpeter, the secrets of light and shadow. That was all just empty talk, wasn't it?
Not exactly. It's all based on the real philosophy of the Jewish Kabbalah. I studied the writings of Bonaventura and Dietrich von Freiberg, but it was never in my interest to put their theories into practice. But they work brilliantly as a cover-up, don't you think?
I really thought you'd have a golem made from dough walking around the mill, or that I could become invisible.
Ah, but black powder is no less a miraculous creation.
So for the last time, Crazel, what now?
I'll do what I promised, and what will most likely be my fate. I'm going to gather together all the knowledge I've acquired and finish Black Berthold's book. I'll finish his opus.
Uh-huh. And what about me?
That's up to you, Henry. You're a free man. Lord Samin has no hold over you, and never did. You know, the inevitability of God's plan takes no interest in people like you and me. We'll always be little people, beneath it all.
That sounds somehow hopeful in a peculiar way, I'd say. Now I'm even happier about the great thing we've accomplished here.
The ideal conclusion, I'd say. Maybe it's time to carry sacks at a different mill. But if you're still interested in learning a bit more, drawing from the well of alchemical knowledge...
I know where to find you.
Indeed.
I'd like to...
Well, all right, throw in a few...
We've been through...
Have you not grown I've told you plenty already.
Well, I know about the...
That's a question I'd like to find yourself, and who you really are. Isn't that the only true meaning of life?
What's new around here?
Nothing much, lad.
Crazel?
Fuse didn't catch immediately.
Black powder? I'd never have expected that from Crazel.
Imagine, that monarch of ours is half deaf.
That dog of yours? What does that have to do with the gunpowder magazine?
Dia kasih nama Mona untuk anjing
the
dari.
explosions didn't bother him at all. At least he won't suffer here. And now I'm not surprised he was so unhappy with that bastard Vasaric. Hey, how did you know what we were actually doing?
I didn't exactly.
But you said weapons. How did you find out? Did we let it slip somehow?
Aku lilot jadi tahu tentang weapon.
It was clear to me the moment I saw that book. I figured the illustrations were about either painting the walls with something to make them invisible, or demolishing them with some kind of flames.
Whew! That means it's all on Crazel, and I played my role properly. Anyway, you did a damn fine job. You deserve a nickname from me, like I promised. We're going to call you Sourdough.
Sourdough?
Well, when you came here, you were kind of unrefined, grey, nothing much. But as you gained experience, you rose and rose until you've risen into a companion we need not be ashamed of. Take care then, Sourdough. And come back and visit sometime. Take care now.
Praise the Lord.
Same to you.
Sekarang udah bisa masuk.
Black powder? Well now,
You didn't expect that, eh?
We're in the middle of the forest next to a mill. Who'd have expected exploding trees?
Aye, well, never judge a firework book by its cover.
Did Crazel tell you that joke?
Corva, how do you know that? Anyways, I hope the miller gives us a bit of extra coin now things has finally worked out.
In the worst case, you can go back to licking the walls of pigsties.
But next time you'll be coming with me. Farewell.
I hate sweeping.
Markas mereka.
What is it you need?
Ngantuk. Oh, nggak bau. Wah, kotor semua tuh. Saatnya dapat servis. Full service. Full service termasuk healing kan ya? Coba lihat deh.
Welcome. Good thing you're here. Good evening.
My body is...
Certainly.
I'd like a pretty girl to take...
Don't worry.
I can't wait.
All right.
I can make your day better.
Oh, harga lebih murah kayaknya.
Let's talk about...
Certainly.
Do we have a deal?
Now that's... Excellent.
Heal.
Don't be afraid to tell me what you want
Oh.
next time. Let us take care of your
Heal
weary
anjay.
body and soul
Baju juga ada bersih.
tonight. We'll help you forget your troubles for a while. Christ! Pardon me.
Malam
Welcome, good sir. Good thing you're here. We were just about to...
Look what I have for you.
You have a kind master, eh, doggy?
Udah, saatnya saya balik ke Tarkov dan mudah-mudahan kali ini side questnya benar-benar udah beres nih. Huh? Ya, hilang, bersih. Well, ini gua berapa ya? Oh. 22. Loh. Lah. Aku di lock kah? Nggak bisa tidur kah?
Kind master, eh, mutt?
Nani? Ya udah, aku tidur di ini deh. Kalau selesaikan questnya itu kah? Bisa Miller gitu? Lock mati. Dulu. Sih, gua pickpocket dulu deh. lumayan dapat level. Si anjing. Lu diam di sini.
Sit. Stay.
Quiet! Go away! Such a naughty dog.
Caranya. Mampir. Tidur bareng kayak karyawan tuh. Si innkeeper nih. Jadi kayaknya dia emang gak ada suami sih. Udahan dulu. Stream. Udah nonton. Kalau diperhatikan ya NPC-nya ya. Paginya itu mereka itu ada lapor ini, lapor guard. Guardnya ada masuk ke rumah mereka gitu, ngobrol-ngobrol gitu. Nanti pas off stream aku perhatiin kayak gitu. Bye bye.